So this is part two of what I'm calling my moldy journey. Because I want people to know about indoor mold and what it can do to your health. And as I go through my experience and I learn, I want you to learn with me because this could be something that you run up against or a friend runs up against or whatever. So knowledge is power. So let's talk about mold. So I'll give you a little recap of part one. Is this fall I was getting sick a lot and like respiratory stuff. I kept getting colds. I had like such a bad sore throat and infected throat that I went on antibiotics, which I never do. And then that all kind of passed, and now my gut was wrecked. But I still wasn't right. Like now I was getting puffy eyes in the morning. My throat was always swollen. Something like wasn't right. My energy was declining. So I didn't know what it was. And I went to the naturopathic college and got some IV therapy. And, really wasn't helping that much. I wasn't getting sick with colds anymore, but I wasn't feeling right. So, ended up, they suggested it could be your new cat. It could be, mold in your house. Tell us about your house. Could be chronic virus. It could be an autoimmune condition. I spent a lot of money, ran a lot of tests, and, waited for stuff to come back. I was hesitant to do the mold test, but my husband was pushing for it. So anyway, we did the mold test. We had a mold inspector, and he found like 3 types of mold in our basement, and he found the moisture under our siding. So that was sort of part one, and was just discovering that. Part two, catching up to the present time, we had the mold removed about a week ago. We had a specialist come in. They suggest you hire a specialist to come because when they remove the mold, it could really release a lot more mold, the spores, into the air. So supposedly, they do all the right things so you don't get sick from the mold. I think he was a good guy and all that, but I do think that mold got kicked up. I think we got worse for a few days. We ended up staying outside the house for a little bit. So yeah, we got the mold removed. That felt good. I think he said he's spraying like some green chemicals, but I don't think they were totally green because it stunk. And one point, right after he did it, I went down in the basement and I immediately had asthma. So, wasn't the greatest. As far as the siding, the moisture under our siding, we were getting a loan for that. And, the bad news is it would be very expensive. The good news is we're gonna get a whole new look to our house. So, that's kind of cool. And we don't know what's under the siding. So, that will come in part 3. Another thing, we got this mold removed, and we didn't really know, are we supposed to feel better? Are we supposed to not feel better? Today I went to the naturopathic college. They predicted it would take like a month. So, good to know. It's good to get a timeline. That's what they think. They suggested some things like N-acetylcysteine, which helps support your liver, turmeric to, again, kind of lower inflammation, massive dose of fish oil, what else? Lots of brassica vegetables, flaxseed, ground flaxseed. So that was mostly it. I think I can handle that. It's addressing that and some thyroid stuff that it seems to be kicking up for me, either from the mold or from something else. So yeah, kind of part 2 is I'm hopeful that in the next month it will get better, and that we'll see what's under the siding and start getting that worked on. I'm hopeful that this regimen will start to bring me back to life. Some of the symptoms I moved into were just more constant fatigue, pretty bad brain fog. I mean, frankly, for a few weeks there, I think I was in it pretty bad and couldn't fully acknowledge it. I've been very busy putting on this online event, so I just kind of slogged through it. And I work from home, so I was right in it. But, the kind of thing, I was making eggs for breakfast the other morning, And, I looked in the cabinet where like the dry food is for the eggs and kind of realized it wasn't in there, and then just sort of like turned around and then went back in the cabinet to look for the eggs, and then just like turned around and forgot what I was doing, and then did it a third time. So for 3 times, I went to the wrong place to get eggs in the same moment. And this kind of thing was happening all the time. And eventually, I would remember what I was doing. You wonder how I can function and all, but eventually I would remember what I was doing, and I'd find the eggs. But it was like a lot of that stuff. So what else is going on? Yeah, like we're opening the windows. We're doing some essential oils. We talked about essential oils recently. I'm doing some On Guard and some lemon oil were recommended. We got the ducts cleaned. That was awesome. You get a lot of nasty stuff in your air ducts, so I think that's important. Yeah, some things I'm learning. I used to be the kind of like homeowner who's just like, I'm just here, like whatever. But now I kind of know, like, how is a window supposed to be installed? I don't know that much, but I know ours weren't installed right, and that's probably why we have moisture and under our siding. And then, I know things like maintaining the gutters and how to have things spaced out in the basement so there isn't any moisture that could build up. So these things are important to know. They're kind of boring, but I'm learning they're important to know. You got to know how to take care of your home environment. And we also got some, I think it's an essential oil-based spray off the website of Dr. Ann Shippey, and we use it to like wash our clothes and to spray down some surfaces, to try to clean the air. So I think those are good products. I don't have the name handy. So yeah, that's Moldy Journey part 2, and maybe I'll catch up with you in about a month, and hopefully I'm feeling better. We'll see what's under the siding. And as time goes by and I feel better, I'd really like to do more research for you about how mold spore and the mycotoxins and all that. Sometimes when you're sick, you can just kind of like get through it. You can't really do all the research. But I'd like to do the research for you in the coming months. All right. Well, if you're on your own moldy journey, I wish you well, and hopefully we'll all get better. Oh, Melanie says she sees the old the mold on her windowsills. Yeah, like it can be in little places like your bathroom or your windowsills, and I think it can be worth cleaning because all the toxins and all the burdens just like build up. She said she cleans it with vinegar. Vinegar, I don't know. I don't know if vinegar kills mold. So I know that hydrogen peroxide often kills mold. And essential oils you can use, but hydrogen peroxide, I don't know the formula, but that's good too. Somehow it kind of like starves the mold of oxygen. I used to be like, oh, mold, whatever, who cares? But if you are in a compromised state, or that, you just kind of hit the tipping point of too many toxins, then it can be a problem for you. So we didn't have like massive amounts in our basement, but enough that, it's toxic and it's getting in the air. And so, yeah. Yeah. Melanie says she's been like cleaning her house since she learned about all this. So, yeah, I think it's good, like if you work from home and you're in that environment all the time, then take care of that environment. We also got a very expensive air filter. And maybe not everyone needs to do that right away, but I would say open the windows for some time every day. That's one of the best things you can do. I also learned that there's like a little adapter you can get for your furnace that like puts all the air through UV, so it kills a lot of stuff. So depending on like your situation and your budget, there's different things you can do. And I'll talk more about that in the future. All right. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. I appreciate it. This is Bridget Danner from Women's Wellness Collaborative. And if you want to share your moldy journey with me, you can go to bridgetdanner.com. You can also follow us here. Thanks. Bye-bye.